Hello everybody, and welcome back to Khemia. That was a fun chat with that lad, right? Ramos, I don't know, guys. It is what it is. I'm not the best with names still. It's fine. It's fine. We'll figure it out along the way. Yeah, no, I'm still loving the Blitzball Stadium up here, so we'll be doing some things, right? If he's the next pharaoh, would he just end the alliance as soon as his father stepped down or passed away? Bit of an asshole, isn't he? I whirl on my teacher, eyes wide, paws up, trying to shush him. It's fine, Scipio. Scipio? Scipio? That's probably it. Yes, Skippy. Asshole is a compliment for the likes of him, a prick all under the guise of politeness. The nicer he acts, the more he wishes you're dead. Ambassador Brunus! Brunus jumps, looking down at the much smaller wolf. Yeah? I must ask some questions about Khemian political etiquette, to better log this event in my records. Well, that wasn't exactly normal, but, okay. Do you want to go inside first, or...? It shall be quick. I'm going to be taking notes out here anyway once we're done. I watch Brunus awkwardly try to talk to Veterus, but the height differential, yes, is so much that he'll eventually sit on his rump to better talk to my neurotic teacher eye to eye. Oh, that person, yeah. Nephew, it's good to have you back. She jumps up and hugs him, which makes me relax, taking it as a signal that formal etiquette is no longer required. And it's good to see you again, too. I'm just glad to be back. Yeah, I was so upset when you told Father you wanted to stay after what happened at the palace. We both know that would have only made things worse. It's the only place I had a purpose anyway. I understand. Now please introduce me to your friend. Yes. Rami didn't even introduce any of us, did he? Aya gasps, then laughs. I forgot you called him that sometimes. Do be more careful around him, though. He's a testier than he used to be. Fantastic news. Anyway, this is Scipio. He's the student of the scholar over there. His name's Veterus. His directives are to... Nephew stops as he realizes that Aya has stepped forward, grabbing my paw. Oh, okay. Well, that's cute. Look at our little lad. I flinch in surprise, but I try to play it off with a smile. Touching during an introduction goes against my woven upbringing, but I grip back gently to acknowledge it. At the same time, I wave at her with my free paw without even realizing it, and I'm using every greeting I can to cover my bases. Hello, Aya. It's a pleasure to meet you. Nephew has told me a bit about you. It's a pleasure to meet you, Scipio. I think we've met already, though not as formally. Yes. So, that was you in my dreams? The last word comes out in a humiliating mumble that almost squeaks at the end. Luckily, she only nods, and I'm relieved I haven't exposed myself as insane yet. I notice that she's still holding my paw, as if she's feeling for something, and her attention doesn't seem to be on my face, as I would expect, but still, she seems to be focusing hard. I look at Nephew, but he looks back with a raised brow, seeming as confused as I am. She's frozen for a bit, then her grip twitches, yes, and her demeanor changes completely. She stares at our paw, then she looks up at me closely. I duck my ears in embarrassment. I'm sorry. I'm probably out of touch when it comes to meeting someone in Khemian. Don't be sorry. This isn't a typical greeting. Her voice, once high, melodic, and ear, is now low and almost dull. Still, she holds my paw, and I make a small effort to pull back, to gently encourage her to end this strange, non-typical greeting. but she continues to hold on. I stand there awkwardly, looking at Neferu for help. Aya, please. Maybe you can do that sort of thing when you get to know him better. Aya doesn't acknowledge him, but she seems to come out of her trance, and with a sad look, she releases her grip. She stares at me with the same sad, almost disbelieving look, that's what that says, and I fidget with my glasses to give my paws something to do. She doesn't normally do anything like that I've seen. Aya, are you alright? A part of me wonders if this is my fault, especially if this is the first time she's done it. Well, here, let me change the audio a bit. I'm sorry. I was just really excited to meet you. She says this even though the excitement is gone from her voice. Oh, it's fine. My voice is loud and full of false cheer, as if to make up for the lost enthusiasm. May I, ask what that was about, though? Of course, but it will have to wait until we have more privacy. We have privacy? Neferu gestures at Brunus and Veterus, and I realize that my teacher's reedy, restless voice is still chattering on while Brunus stares at him, mouth agape and squinting in confusion. From them, maybe. She gives Neferu an almost guilty look. Wait, me? But I'm his friend. You can't just grab people you don't know and drag them into your... Neferu cuts himself off, but Aya catches it. My what, Neferu? My witchcraft? My imagination? Do you also think I'm a... What is this? Schizophrenic? I'm a schizophrenic? Our family is just trying to disguise? No, of course not. Neferu looks like he wants to say more, but he simply closes his mouth, looking stunned. I'm stunned as well, and now I'd much rather be with Veterus, making sure he's not saying anything too foolish. A strange, irrational thought that I could be the reason their relationship falls apart crosses my mind. I believe I started things off a bit awkwardly. Please forgive my woven habits. I bow slightly to her, trying to give the tension between them a release, and it seems to work, at least a little. No, Scipio, I'm the one with the unusual habits. I just have a lot going on my mind right now, and there are some fairly popular rumors going around about my role in the palace. She says that last bit to Neferu. They believe you're mentally ill. It's the latest one, but it's a natural consequence of the secrecy of my role. I apologize for the disrespect. I can at least sympathize with false rumors, though. We also need to talk. Of course, Neferu. You're staying in the palace while our guests are here, right? Yes, as long as Ram leaves me alone and doesn't kick me out. I am technically part of the envoy, after all. Yes, it'll be just like old times. Well, maybe not just like old times, but hopefully we can still enjoy ourselves. With Skip. I smile slightly at the casual nickname, wondering how every Khemian I've met uses it so quickly and naturally. I am here to understand and observe the ways of Khemia, inside and outside the palace, so I'm glad to be included. This is so exciting. Sorry if I'm sounding insane, but being in the palace with only guys. Help. Around, trying to make casual conversation with me. She shrugs. It's a bit of a nightmare. That bad, huh? It's probably because he has no one to talk to either, with Father off-planet and Hennet training in Amadon. Ramses has always had someone to guide him, but that's definitely not going to be me. I decide to become a bit bold and break into the conversation. The time we waited for him when we first arrived, was it some sort of political tactic? Or is he just... I searched for the correct, least offensive word. Unaware of his actions? No, if ever he seems rude, it's intentional on his part. Right, Aya? We intentionally stood at the entrance for 5 minutes. We literally, stood at the entrance for 5 minutes. Oh. I'm sorry, but I don't know. But you're high-ranking ambassador and foreign relations expert. Sure, but I don't know everything about some pharaoh from 5,000 years ago. I turned to Veterus, who was unbelievably clutching Veterus's pant leg to prevent him from moving away. Oh gods, please excuse me. It was nice meeting you, and I hope we can talk again soon, Aya. Of course. I suppose. No, excuse me. I'll take the time to catch up with Aya. Good luck dealing with, that. I look back. At this point, Brunus is trying to keep his pants up with a paw. I practically run to pull Veterus off of him, and doing it in a way that doesn't drop Brunus's trousers. But why not? It could be funny. It could be funny. Oh my god, why did you do? We're all the way back on Adastra. Who are we as? Okay. Magistrate Flavius? At this point, what am I most curious about is why you're bothering to talk to me in the first place. I was under the impression that you were seeking a compromise. Flavius, one of the triumvirats of Lupus, stares at her, looking somewhat bored. Virginia assumes the only reason for this communication is to disrespect her. Which one was Flavius? I don't remember. I told you our conditions. More funding to maintain culturally and historically significant buildings and locations. More voting power for Lupus Triumvirs. And for Lupus to have veto power in any vote the Triumvirates are part of. Virginia stares at the man, noting the bald patch in his head fur, literally due to fur pulling, made all the more noticeable in how he groomed the fur to try to disguise it. He looks relaxed before her, but she doubts that's how he feels. A realistic compromise. And I apologize for having to repeat myself, but I'll put it in a more concise? Is that what that is? Is that concise? Look, guys, my mental dictionary, it got picked up and thrown out the window. We don't need it. We don't need it here. Words cannot hurt me. A format that you might remember. The last time I checked a year ago, Lupus is our second wealthiest city. Just behind Rote. Still, this particular demand is at least possible, but the others... Why should Lupus have more voting power when your population is, last I checked, only about 1.5 million, half the 3 million average? I think I can think of 4 cities right now that actually do more voting power due to their large population. Finally, why does Lupus deserve veto power? A power reserved only for Adastra. What will the other cities think? There is no explanation or excuse for it. I do not need to justify the reason. The answer is absolutely not. The wolf growls in his throat, but it's so slight Virginia is willing to let it go as something less, wanting to keep her conversation with this man as short and quick as possible. But Lupus is the historic capital of Adastra. Virginia struggles not to roll her eyes. Lupus was a temporary capital for less than a decade, over 5 millennia ago, while Trilsol served as a temporary capital for even longer and far more recently. But she's realized there's little point in arguing with the man. Virginia stares at his head fur instead, thinking about how to best deal with the situation. Not just with Lupus, but the Empire as a whole. And you're not even going to listen to me. Then I don't believe there's much discussion left for us. You're right. At this point, we seemingly have nothing to negotiate. In the meantime, Adashra will be keeping a close eye on your city. Always remember that I will not hesitate to do what needs to be done to keep the Empire stable. If that's what you And if you refer to me again, without using my proper title, you will be punished accordingly. Flavish says, I want to say Flaversham. I keep wanting to say that, guys. Flavius opens his mouth. His fur bristles, and Virginia feels some satisfaction in seeing it. He literally has never had a woman speak to him in such a way. Anything else, Magistrate Flavius? He stares hard through the screen, and Virginia stares back. That is all, Empress Regent. Very well. You are dismissed. Just before the portal call ends and the screen goes black, Virginia hears a bit before the audio cuts off. Virginia can practically hear the magistrate spitting out her most popular names. Whore, prostitute, bitch, any gender-specific insult will do. Not that she minds, but Virginia knows Amicus didn't do enough to keep this from happening. Not intentionally, of course, and Virginia had refrained from pestering him about it, seeing how troubled he's become over the past several months. She's reminded him maybe twice, and he certainly thought he'd put together a reasonable, reliable group of officials to aid her, but they hadn't been ready for this. She wonders if anything could have prepared Adashra for this. It's been only 3 days, or maybe only 2. She massages her eyes with a thumb and middle finger. No emperor, and certainly not acting empress, can succeed without a strong backing from anyone. Incredible. All of my life's work for this. She begins muttering to herself. This is something she didn't do before being left alone to rule. Of course, she never expected to be in this role. Potes? A goal had been for her to at least become an advisor, which she did, and apparently failed terribly at because Amicus didn't think ahead. There should be 10 advisors speaking to me right now. At this rate, I'll be overthrown in a year, if not months. I wonder how I'll be killed. I'm sure they'll be very creative about it. Apologies for interrupting, but Cassius is arriving in 15 minutes. Cassius? He's alive? He does things? What? Why? She asks the question out of complete surprise, not expecting Calm to know, and sure enough. I apologize, but I do not have that information. No forewarning of his return was given. He arrived on an Amorpho ship, which cannot be communicated with by Adastran equipment due to the current strained relations. Whatever the reason for Cassius' unexpected arrival, Virginia suspects it's not good. Though, as she thinks about her brother, a few ideas form in her mind. Calm. Set out refreshments in the vestibule to prepare for my brother's arrival, please. Of course, Empress Regent. Does Cassius have a new sprite? Is that a thing? Do we care about this lad? Are you all excited to see the grand return of Cassius? By the time Virginia arrives, she's a minute or so ahead of her brother, and he shows up just as refreshments arrive. Oh, he does. Look at him. I would still just smack him in the face. Not for any reason of his character, because I just look at him and I'm just like, I just want to smack you. Look at this one. He's so angry. He's just like, harumph. And those are the type of dogs I just like smack on the side of their face. And then just like pat their nose. And they hate it. It is what it is. But all right, everyone. I think I'll be ending the part here, so I do hope that you all have enjoyed, and I'll see you guys around.